Start with your foam rolling on your calves. You want to use a gentle rolling action along the whole length of the muscle. Feel free to apply a zigzag rocking and rolling action along the whole length. If you feel like you need a little bit more pressure, add another limb. Do the same action back and forth with that zigzag action. If you feel like getting a little bit more advanced, add a little bit of torque or a limb movement along that whole length. If you want a little bit more compression, you can even drop that calf into those deeper layers. Be explorative. Roll through any areas that are tight and pause on ones that hurt a lot. You want to penetrate nice and deep to get that extra release. Feel free to explore other angles of the body, rolling onto your shins. We're using lots of core and bridging techniques at the same time. Rolling through, creating good compression onto the tibialis anterior, the front of the shin. Remember, we're having great posture, good spinal alignment. If you feel like adding a little bit more tension onto the front of the shin, just sit back and allow gravity to melt into the muscles. Make sure you're always moving with good core techniques. You can reposition your travel roller very easily into your hamstrings, rolling up through the back line of the fascia. So we're rolling through the hamstrings. Again, we're continuing with that zigzag action. Back and forth, as well as rolling back and forth this way. So creating compression, sliding the skin, and we're also creating some movement in our limbs as well. Next, we're going to roll through our glutes. So we're rolling through our glutes in many different angles. So using this gentle back and forth action. Now the travel roller is much more firm, so we're able to get much more precise into those areas to create a physiological effect. So once you find that area, pause and hold, create some good compression, work through that area for about 5 seconds on each spot, and then reposition yourself and work another 5 seconds. Make sure you're breathing and using that core the whole time. If you feel tired or fatigued, just take a break and reposition yourself onto the other side. Okay, so rolling through the whole back line, we're rolling through our lower back, repositioning the roller on one side of the erector spinae muscle at a time. Remember, we are rolling fascia and muscles and never bones. So be very gentle and use great core strength. So again, rolling through the low back, nice and gentle, creating different angles, breathing. When you want to go to the other side, make sure you stand up, you reposition yourself, and again, we're rolling the erector spinae muscles. Please never roll through the middle part of the low back, as you will be rolling on your spine and the travel roller is very firm, so please use it with extreme caution. When you get through the upper back, reposition yourself in the mid part of your back, bracing and cradling your head gently, and relaxing and melting and opening the thoracic spine. Take a deep breath and lift up your glutes and allow your spine to realign, as well as massage deep into those tight muscles. You can also apply some reaching actions, creating a little bit of torque and movement in these tissues. Again, reaching all the way into an athletic position with good glute engagement and core strength. You can also do a thoracic extension. So we're realigning our spine and opening up our chest, taking a deep breath, and trying to return our spine to that natural curvature. Once you feel comfortable in your lower back, please hold your head and reposition your travel roller like a pillow under your neck. Notice how the travel roller is very ergonomic. So it fits perfectly with its 4.3-inch diameter under our cervical curvature of our neck. It does not create any strain, but it penetrates deep into the skull and those areas that are really, really tight. Try to do a no action side to side, massaging deeper into the skull and in the neck. Working through the shoulders and the arms. Position the roller and your body on the side, rolling through your triceps, turning your palm down and up, rolling into the armpit and our lats. We're trying to get deep into the lats, into the armpit, into the pectorals. Again, you're going to be trying to reach your body and your arm across your body. If you feel any numbness or tingling in your arms, just use a little bit less pressure. Again, we're trying to unwind the muscles. You can also reposition your body with your chest up to the ceiling, trying to get deeper into the posterior shoulder and lats. Really try to maneuver your body in a way where you feel like you're stretching. So feel free to be a little bit more aggressive and stretching out that fascia. You can also reposition and do the top of the shoulder, moving anterior to the front of the shoulder. Make sure you're breathing. Again, 5 nice passes, applying good compression. Hi, I'm Arista Bogner, the creator of Travel Roller, and this is how I roll. So I start at my calves, and I start rolling and rocking. So by rocking and rolling, I'm getting deep into my tissues. I go through my calves very, very thoroughly, and then get into my shins. So nice and deep into my shins, creating some good torque and shear force. I'm also trying to get my core and my lateral fascial line open. I like to breathe through the whole area, working through the hamstrings, creating a very dynamic core workout at the same time through the IT band. Stretching out and changing my body position continuously. In through the quads. I really like to get aggressively deep into the quads. Maneuvering around, adding in some fascial line stretches, like an upward dog. Into my abductors. Back to the quads, my T-bands, until I feel nice and loose and free. In through the glutes, really deep and aggressive. You can apply a little bit more pressure by pulling up on the travel roller. It's a great way of getting nice and deep. Then I'll do the other side. So again, getting deep into the calves. Hamstrings. I'm getting warmed up now. Woo. Tibialis anterior, engaging my core in that 4-point position. Putting all my body weight, getting the deepest massage that I can, aligning this fibular head on the lateral side, again through the hamstrings, glutes, any place that feels really tight. I'll spend some extra time on that spot. T-band. I'm rolling, but I'm also creating some torque. And through those quads. I'll spend most of my time on the quads, really creating some shear, wiggling my quads along the roller. Upward dogs. Opening up that psoas. Deep breath. Ooh, my triceps are getting a good workout. Doing little push-ups in between. And then adductors. Focusing on the hip flexors. Quickly going into the low back. Through the upper back. Really aggressive, high glute bridge, reaching into the upper traps, opening up my thoracic spine, belly breathing. Pausing and holding, getting in through the upper traps, neck, quick little nose side to side. Massaging through my forehead, getting the end of that superficial back line of the fascia. Then through my triceps, palm up and then palm down. Opening up the lats into the pecs. And the deltoids. Top of the delt, front of the delt, back of the delt. Little wiggle, switching. Again, triceps. Palm down, reaching actions. Lats. Opening up. Reaching forward, stretching, reaching. I'm going to take you through mobilization and a pre-activity sequence of rolling using the travel roller. So we have Morgan here, and we're going to show you how to prep for any type of an activity or exercise to prevent injury and maximize performance. So Morgan, you're going to take your travel roller. I want you to show me just a few things that you like to do on your own body using the roller as a desensitizing tool before you go exercise or do any hard activity. All right, so it looks like he's rolling through the arch of the foot, so he likes to start with the superficial back line of the fascia, rolling through all types of the angles as well as the arch of the foot, in through the toes and the heels. For sprinters, it's really important to really work the feet, as well as, every person really needs to work their feet, but it's really important and neglected part of the body. So Morgan, what are you doing there with your hip? Can you show me? Throw that one again.
Okay.
So what are you doing that with your hip?
I'm trying to minimize movement in any of the adjacent joints, so I'm really trying to focus on just the big toe getting a little bit of extension in this case. So it's not coming from my knee bending or not coming from my hip falling out. But just moving right through that toe a little bit.
Nice. Okay, so Morgan likes to prep for his exercise using very quick movements that are very activating. Okay, so we're working through the top layers of the fascia, and he's shearing back and forth in a very aggressive and shearing way to really get lots of mobility and blood flow into these areas. He's also applying lots of torque with the feet, lots of different angles, His core is engaged. He's getting a great core and warm-up at the same time as well. So he's really applying a lot of load into the travel roller by putting the other foot down, creating a lot more compression and force into the roller. And that's the one great thing about the travel roller is you really can get deeper into those areas where other foam rollers don't do the trick. Awesome. Keep going. Show me what you got.
Which side do I do this?
Okay, so IT band. Very aggressively getting to the IT band. You can see how athletic Morgan is. He's really changing all these different angles, creating lots of different torque and compression and shear. So he's really trying to basically move his body in ways that feel really good, where he can feel the fascia opening up. So he's working the lateral line on his body right now. So again, very core-based, dynamic, engaged. Checking both sides, making sure it's very symmetrical. Again, see how he's moving the other joints. Lots of torque. Getting to the different areas of the belly of the quad, nice and deep. Adductors. So getting deep into the interior side of the leg, deep into the adductor. Nice. Right into the hip flexor. As well, he's opening up the superficial front line. Nice. Hamstrings. Again, creating that extension and torque moving through each segment of the body. So Morgan, what are you looking for when you are, you're feeling out the travel roller, you're kind of pressing on areas? What is it that you're feeling?
I'm feeling for joints and surfaces that just aren't moving the way we're looking for in movement. So here we're trying to keep a stable pelvis and just try to get a little bit of movement in those upper hamstrings.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
It's hard work.
So Ryan, I get a lot of questions from high-performance athletes, that do a triathlon or performance effect, and they say, should I be rolling right after exercise or a performance event to recover?
For sure, and my answer is always absolutely. For sure. Now we know that rolling can remove inhibition. It makes a muscle more stimulated, so we know that's why it's important to roll before. But what happens is during an athletic event, you are breaking down muscles. So the sooner you roll after, the sooner you can help repair and restore that muscle. If that muscle has strained at all because you've overworked it, you can remove some of that inhibition. It doesn't have to be inhibited. Sometimes it can just be stressed, and you can increase or speed up that recovery process. So right after, an hour after, a couple hours after, all of it.
What happens if the muscle is sore and hurts? Should they be rolling?
It's still very beneficial to roll, because we know that if a muscle is strained, the more it strains, the more inhibited, which is a reflex, inhibition is a reflex within a muscle, the more it may be inhibited. So if you want to promote that recovery, yes you would, because if it's sore, maybe it's inhibited, but this is a recovery tool. It helps regeneration and repair of a muscle.
So does this also help with the lymphatic tissue as well as flushing out lactic acid?
It can. I generally use it more for muscle recovery, because sometimes just in terms of a protocol, people have to watch which way they roll. So you can, yes, but generally for me, I focus on this definitely for a muscle recovery tool. That's why every single person that is doing any athletic endeavor, be it their first 5K, running a marathon, they need one of these.
So I'm going to do a quick little prep. Everything that we've been doing before is all the before bed regeneration, longer duration, trying to fix actually things to unwind upper and lower cross syndrome, and this would be something like a prep where you come into CrossFit or any type of exercise and you're just going to prep. So you have your 5 to 10 minutes, but you want it to be very quick and activating and energizing. So everyone's energy is quick, pretty relaxed, and now you're ready for bed or the rest of your day. This one's going to be really quick. So basically, I start with an acupressure ball, and I'm going to go through it. You can try to follow along. I'm going to go really quick, and I'm going to do some advanced moves, but you can kind of see what it might look like as you get more advanced with the roller. Obviously, the travel roller is a lot harder, so you're going to have to work your way up to the level that I'm at. Okay, so rolling through the feet, getting in through the arches. Again, anything that feels tight as I'm working through, because every day that you activate is going to be different from the next. So you might want to identify all the different areas. Okay, rolling through each foot really quick, just getting blood flow in there, maybe opening the arch of the foot into the heel. Okay, feels pretty good. Okay, and I might even do a little bit with the travel roller as well. You can get broad pressure, and then maybe doing a little bit of a calf stretch with my heel planted in through the arch. Okay, and I'm going to be moving really quickly, trying to get my core engaged. And I'm doing a lot of the shear stuff very, very quick. A lot of it's going to be on my arms and legs. Really, really thick. Quick notching through any areas.
So this would be like super low compression?
Yeah.
And almost none? You're
Yeah.
doing like a muscle jiggle?
Yeah.
So it'd be very, very similar to
Really, really quick.
tracking tissue that a therapist would do with a sprinter or a swimmer. They go, oh, you're going to go on here in a little bit. And they would go through with the guy's body, make sure the joints are...
Through the adductors. Adductors.
Sort of like rubbing the body, either waking it up or maybe put a few places a little bit to, wake up some areas, put other areas to sleep a little bit if you like. But it's quite quick, low compression, fast.
So I'm just going to do my one leg, my full one leg, really quick. Apply some stretches in there, maybe.
So some of the stuff that she does automatically would be a fascial line stretch interlaced with the roller. And then she'll show you a bunch of stuff with the band also, where she does joint moves and different stuff.
Okay, and through the glute. So that's one leg there, real quick. Getting deep in there. Okay, I'm going to do other leg now. Calf. You can see you get really warm very quickly through the tibialis anterior. Any place that's really, really tight, you might want to stay there a little bit longer and maybe do something more before you start training.
So the big thing is to have the body very, very core braced and linked. So all the positions are actually like a core prep. So even as she's moving quickly, the core is like really quite perfect. Neutral spine is then rotating around, sort of like a little bit of a breakdancing style move. This way, that way, and everything's really neutral.
Changing direction in my leg a lot.
A lot of the need to do different sort of weird ground-based rotating bridges, hand rolling, and you could stack on like 45 minutes of different things that you would want to do. So you can try to do a bunch of them all at once, basically.
Okay, and then you can get through the glute, low back. Just seeing if everything feels pretty good. Upper back. Getting those glutes engaged, core's tight. Get through the shoulders.
So this would be really low compression.
Yeah. Other one. Just stretching out all those lines. Into the back.
And as a reference for it, if you look at sprint coach / therapist or swim coach / therapist, the top echelon, there's a huge amount of pre-workout muscle prep that has to do with checking toneness of tissue. So there's a lot of joint modes, which you'll now do in combination with checking the actual tissue to see if it's really nice and jiggling and perfect. You see that like for Michael Phelps or maybe an Ian Thorpe sort of video, like Ian Thorpe's would be, I don't know, 10 years ago, but even then there'd be a video of him getting totally flushed out or prepped up before he actually gets into the activity.
So then right after, I'm going to do a few activation stuff. So making sure my glutes, yeah. Well, I would do that for me. Just making sure that my quads aren't too tight. So if they're too tight, I'd go back onto the quads, making sure my glutes are firing pretty good.
Yeah. So she might do more quad rolling to try to get them even less.
I would have to do a lot of glute activation.
Because we've been sitting immense amounts in cars for the last month.
Yeah. Okay. So for joint mob.
Yeah. So now the band, this little band is obviously just like any band, but this one now comes in the new travel roller kits. So 3 balls and this band now are all in them.
So it's really flexible. I would be doing lots of just, and then really keeping my hips flat, core is tight.
Show me like a hip circle with that.
Yep.
That neat.
Hip circle. Just getting everything feeling pretty good there. Leg. Do you guys use a band? Not for stretch. So this is more getting my joint mobilized.
It's really fun to use it because it lightens the limb
Yeah.
substantially, but allows free movement. So a strap is good, but without the elastic nature to it, the receptors in the joint and in the leg and the muscles and so on don't feel as fantastic. Like, have you ever done all the sort of K-Star prep moves with different bands? It's because it's actually elastic that it's so amazing.
because you can actually take off the top layer and make it actually more firm. So I'm going to show you how to deconstruct your travel roller. So the first thing you want to do is unravel your drawstring and place the travel roller on a firm surface and slide off the inner core. And then you have your 2 sleeves, and you can apply the inner sleeve to make it a little bit firmer. So that's a good way of actually making the travel roller firm again. Now if we want to reconstruct your travel roller, you're going to take the outer core and the inner sleeve, and you're going to slide the inner sleeve to align it perfectly with the outer sleeve. Making sure this little drawstring doesn't get caught, so make sure that's pulled out as well. And when you feel like you have the 2 foams perfectly aligned, you again position the pipe on a firm surface and you just push down, just like that. Making sure it's aligned on the edge, and you're ready to roll.